Om Sri Sai Ram. Welcome to the first episode of Tuning Into Sai, a podcast series offered by Sri Sathya Sai Centre of Mill Hill, where we will hear the beautiful, cherished experiences and wisdom from some of our centre's long-time devotees. For the first episode, I am joined by Kirtibhai Patel. Kirti uncle was born in Mombasa, Kenya, and moved to the UK in 1973. He has been in Swami's fold and a part of Mill Hill Sai Centre for over 30 years. He has previously served Swami as Seva Coordinator, Vice Chair, and Chair at Mill Hill Sai Centre, as well as serving as National Seva Coordinator in 2009. Sai Ram, and welcome, and looking forward to hearing your experiences.
Thank you.
To start things off, Uncle, can you share a little bit about how you first encountered Swami in your life?
It's a long story. Without me realizing that Swami was looking after me, in the sense that when I first came to England, some people will remember that Swami had gone to East Africa in 1968.
That's right.
And as you said, I came here in 73. But between 68 and 73, as a student, I was 16 years old in 73. I was not aware of Swami, but I was aware there's a big guru coming from India, and every adults were excited.
Yes.
And my mind was on cricket rather than gurus. So when I came to England, again, my mind was like 90% cricket, 10% studies. But all my neighbors and my fellow sort of pupils, so to speak, the friends I used to sort of play cricket with, they were all Sai devotees. But I wasn't aware of it. All I was aware was they had to stop cricket at 6 o'clock on a Thursday to go to the bhajans to the house. And of course they would invite me. And I just thought that's a bit strange. I mean, there's a lot of sunshine outside. We should still be playing cricket. Bhajans are for older people, adults, not for us. And again, I didn't realize that Wellingborough, where I was one of the earliest Swami sort of center, if I can call it center, in the sense of there were probably about 30, 40 families who were Sai devotees. And a lot of English people used to come to Wellingborough for the kirtans, bhajans. Again, at the time, I didn't realize that. It was only a lot later, when I came to Mill Hill, I began to piece everything together. How Swami is with you when you don't even realize it, right? Mm-hmm. So that was really my first thing. So between 73 to until I came to Mill Hill, really and truly, my life all about, I suppose, studies, cricket, and really university. So there was nothing religious, spiritual at all.
Okay.
About it. Even though, again, a lot of my friends, they were kind of Krishna devotees, and some had been to Parthi, but it didn't click with me, Parthi,
right,
in that sense, And for example, Ishwarbhai, who comes from Wellingborough, he was quite a big follower of Swami in those days, and he used to take groups to Parthi. Again, as I said, it just went over my head, all that. And then, of course, as you come into the fold, Mill Hill, you begin to piece everything together, because there were some devotees from Wellingborough here at Mill Hill.
Okay.
And as I previously might have mentioned, that it became home immediately. It wasn't like I came first time, I had to know people. It just... It just felt home.
Okay. What was that first moment where you really started to realize that who Swami is, and maybe just how big an impact he was going to make in your life?
Well, the funny thing was that I think it was 93, 94 when my two girls were born. Well, one of the older one was born in 92. And friends from India came. And they were university friends of my wife. They came. And Dimple, the lady, she was a King Sai Baba follower. And when she came, she used to go to visit lots of different places. And I just drove her there. And she would kind of say, "Well, come in with them." I said, no. Dimple, you go and do your bits. What I didn't realize, she was going to Sai houses. Yeah,
Right.
a devotee from Parthi probably. So, and when I came home, and after 2 weeks, they left back to go back to India. She had left a bunch of books and videos. They couldn't take it home because there was too much luggage.
Okay.
So she kept it at our place, saying that, look, following year we'll be coming back, and she'll pick it up then. It didn't occur to me to read books or anything until she rang me maybe a week or 2 weeks, I think, when she was in. She just asked me, have I read any of the books? I said, Dimple, you didn't ask me to read any of the books. And she said, no, pick one. And that was when Howard Murphy's and the famous Miracles book read. And that's the first time I read a book cover to cover without putting it down.
Wow.
Which was amazing for me for a start, because I wasn't in that spiritual mindset at the time. And so the book must have sort of, I mean, I've forgotten now, but for the first 10 years, I remember from Mill Hill, that book was like top of my mind. But as more experiences come in,
yes,
it becomes less of miracles and much more of your inner sadhana and thing, which at the time I didn't realize it, how subtly Swami changes you. He gets you. But the funny thing was, I was reading all these miracles and I said, well, these people he's writing about, they sound all very sensible people. They're not kind of someone mad, or they're just, something's happened. And but I know, for example, I had no desire for a ring or anything from Swami, physical. It just felt to me, Swami, it just felt right.
Yeah,
Swami, the universal, the master, coming in a human form, it just felt just normal to me.
Mm-hmm. For you, it was that, we say the classic example of like, pick any of Swami's book and open a page and there'll be a message. For you, it was the whole book that you picked, and the whole book was the message and the pull that brought you
exactly in. Everyone's experience. It just felt not like it's my experience, but I can relate to it, everyone's experiences. And I could relate, Swami is the center of that.
Yes.
Yeah. And I said, how much more can I suppose the thing was, I didn't trust my senses. And perhaps I can just fast forward to 2010 on that particular one.
Yeah. We
were all sitting in remember all the national we went as a big group. I think we were quite a lot, 400, 500 at least, I think, in the national group. And one of my job, I was a national coordinator at the time. And one of my tasks was to make sure the lines, who stays on the first line, second line, that everyone gets a chance. Okay. So I was supposed to be at the back, because that's fine. Everyone else, they get a good darshan and they feel that they come in a group, and it's not like few people being favored. So I was quite happy till the last day. And then even on the last day of a thing, I was quite happy, and so sitting at the back. And I think just before Swami came, someone just pulled me and put me in the first line.
Okay.
And I mean, it's too late to, the music comes.
Yes.
You can't then sit up and do that kind of thing. So you just sit there. And Swami comes very slowly, looking at everyone, right? I was just quite happy watching Swami like normal, just coming and not expecting anything. And as far as I remember, and this is why I don't trust my senses, as far as I remember, Swami just passed by, didn't look at me or anything, and I was quite happy. I was just...
Yeah.
And when we finished everything, left, and people were saying, why didn't you bow down and your hands to Swami's feet? Because he was standing in front of you all this time. I said, no, he passed me by. He said, no, you were standing in front of you.
Oh, wow.
And I was kind of like Pad Namaskar, right?
Yes.
Now, I'd never been very comfortable with Pad Namaskar, because in my mind, I just see Swami inner. In a sense, my Pad Namaskar would be inners, not physical, outward Pad Namaskar. And Swami knows everything. That's why I say I don't trust my senses, I thought Swami had just passed by, but he was standing, and there is literally, and I still kind of thought to myself, kind of no. And then somebody, apparently people take pictures,
Yes.
official photographer. So one of the pictures was Swami just
Standing.
sitting front, but watching others,
Yeah.
and so close to me, so I could have taken the Pad Namaskar.
Wow.
But I was not aware of it. He had removed that kind of thought, whatever, out of it. I was just quite happy.
Yeah.
You know,
Your connection has always been more on the kind of omnipresent,
yeah,
no, not the physical, but
yeah, it was just like Swami in a universal, for the whole. Yeah, we are just a little one.
yeah.
Yeah, we just enjoy it.
Yes.
I mean, that was my feeling.
Yeah.
He wasn't even kind of thinking much more beyond it. Yeah, it was just, so yeah, Swami's watching, going. That is great.
Yeah.
Being in the front row. That was it. More than anything else, really. So
Yes. Okay. And then, Uncle, if you can share maybe a close experience of Swami's that maybe surprised you, that you didn't expect.
Oh, I was in Prashanti, and again, it was one of those quick visit to Prashanti. And if I recall correctly, that we were trying to go there. Oh yeah, Mill Hill was supposed to be going. And the few of us, we said we would go earlier to recce and make sure accommodation and so forth. Right?
Yeah.
And the funny thing was, we are in the middle of what? We had sold our house, but we had not found anywhere else to go. And it was that week I was going in. It was the Saturday we were finishing, it was Friday or Saturday we were finishing, or basically selling the final set. And I'd gone to Prashanti, I think the Friday before, and coming back on probably Thursday or the Friday on the day, yeah, of the sale. And my wife was kind of saying, why are you going to Prashanti? We haven't even found anywhere to live. We got to pack everything and to move and so forth. And I said, well, I have to do this. Anyway, I was in Prashanti, and half the time, even though I don't like to do personal things when I'm in Prashanti, I was kind of, obviously it was in the back of my mind. And my wife would be calling me every day saying, oh, I still haven't found anything, I still haven't found anything. And you're just sitting there happily praying. And the funny thing was, I did not feel at all stressed out or anything. Yeah, I could hear what my wife was saying, but I did not feel stressed out. And I didn't have any firm reason for that, anything firm. Until my wife rings me. I think it was last day or something. And I said, okay, when I get back, I'm sure Swami will, in my mind, Swami would sort it out. And I was thinking to myself, saying to my wife kind of thing, okay, we can always stay in a hotel or something, for a couple of weeks or something until I sort it out, and the luggage can go somewhere else, all the household things. And she said, look, I found two places, one's 63 in Mill Hill, Woodland Way, Mill Hill, and one's 36, I can't remember the road name, in Hendon. Again, very close to our centre, the old centre, Canada Villa.
Yeah.
From Woodland Way, I could even walk there in 15 minutes. Yeah, it was that close. And I said to her, she said, well, you got to choose one. And she said, well, I said, no, it'd be obvious to you when you go visit both, which one to pick. And it was obvious, it was the Woodland Way and things. And she had explained to the agent, look, we need to, because we are kind of closing the sale on the other side, so we need to move in. And thank goodness that particular house we had got was an empty house. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, people had left. And the agent said, well, no problems, just come. Just put all your stuff there, everything. No mention of deposit, no mention of anything.
Wow.
Yeah. Until we had gone. It was the following week, I think during the week, when everything was sorted out. It wasn't even on a Monday, it was like during the week sometime.
Yeah.
He said, okay, fine. And to me, that was just, a small, like a, I didn't see it as a miracle in that. At the time, I was kind of saying, because I always saw Swami is because Swami can do anything. I just, thank you, Swami.
Yes.
I mean, of course, one is very, very grateful. But I used to think, why does he take so much trouble over me? There's so many other issues because you see people's problems, and kind of stuff. And yet, that's what builds your faith up.
Yes.
Not that I needed that much, but it's when it's needed most. It comes at a time when, thank goodness I didn't have to be tested in the sense that I felt, Swami, what's happening? He never let me do that. He just let me be what I was.
Yes. Your mind was focused on the trip, and
mine was focused on the trip, the practical side from Mill Hill, the accommodation, everything. It really wasn't focused on my issues at all.
Yeah.
I led it to my wife, and I was hoping something will happen.
I guess when you surrender to Swami, he comes in, I guess you could say, just in time.
That's it. So that's exactly
when you need it, and then that's the right time. You said you finished your trip mostly. It was the last couple of days or day.
That's it.
And that's when he came in.
That's when he came in.
Solved everything.
Yeah, that's right. Because we were just ready to go back, and everything was fine. That accommodation, everything was sorted out for the Mill Hill trip.
Yeah.
So it was beautiful. It was really, really lovely.
Yeah.
Again, those sort of things kind of built on other people's Mill Hill experiences. People like, there was Yoga Uncle, PK Bhai, Sam, Udayan, who were all previous chairs. And listening to them, and also how our centers were coming into being. How Canada Villa, when you used to go in, very early in the morning to wash up, really clean the whole centers at 6 o'clock in the morning, ready for bhajans at 8:20.
Yes.
Those were the early days.
Yes, I remember.
Yes, that's right. And would Swami be satisfied with the center, with the activities? Are we doing it the right way? The discipline, all that sort of side of it.
Yeah. So you've had that mindset of Swami comes to this center, of course.
Yeah.
And so everything should be as perfect, because that's what we.
Well, that's right. Because in my mind, I said Swami is there.
Yes.
We have to. To me, between physical and not virtual, but really in a spirit form, it's there, it's watching you.
Yes.
Yeah. So you got to be very aware.
Yes.
Like from the shoes onwards.
Yes.
Because that was a story that really stuck in my mind. One of the things, because we all read, I think, when Swami went to a house bhajan, and people were all in. And because Swami was late or something like that, so they're all been in, and the people who were outside, when Swami came, people inside were not aware Swami had come. But Swami took 5 minutes, because all the champals and slippers were all over the shop, to physically put them in a good line before he came in. And that image struck to me. I said, Mill Hill has to do that. Yeah, because Swami said, he's giving us an example of how, if it's a center, that discipline, you don't rush in.
Sure.
Yeah, you just take your time, make sure everything is right.
Yes.
And then go in. Yeah. It was only a lot later when I began to realize, look, a lot of people were upset and things. They wouldn't come to me directly, but, because everyone's got their own personal journeys, and one should not assume that.
Yes, of course.
That was a learning for me. That's been always the learning for me. So nowadays I'm much more relaxed, Like in the old days, if the children are running around, or even if a little girl is sitting on the men's side, I would say, no, you can't have that. It has to be on the other side. Now I feel very relaxed.
Yes.
Because I say it will all come in time.
Yeah.
Because the kids have to feel comfortable in their own time, in their own way, and they'll move in their own way.
Yes, I see that as Swami also had his high discipline side and also his playful side, where he was a bit more lenient, a bit more joking around.
Yeah, that's right.
So you could see that Swami's mannerisms coming through there in the two
Now I'm just totally relaxed. I mean, in fact, maybe I've gone the other way. It doesn't really matter, in the sense that I remember to the Balvika's gurus, I said, well, look, they were kind of saying, well, there's a syllabus and thing, and I was very sympathetic with them. About syllabus is everyone's got to finish the syllabus. Now I'm kind of thinking to myself, well, it's not the syllabus that is important. It's what lessons the children are taking from everything. So the syllabus is also part of the satsang we are in. How do they sit? How do they, everything. Discipline is not only in the class, but it's got to be done in a very light way.
Right.
Yeah, loving way, light way. So children don't even feel there's a discipline. It just feels natural to them.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's the learning I've come across. I said that's the best way, but you need patience. Yeah, and just take your time with the kids.
Great. So, Uncle, we just switched to a couple of questions on the spiritual or service side. I know that you've, had a lot of involvement in the service wing in the Sai organization. What role has service played in your life? What does it mean to you?
Well, in a sense, it's changed me completely. Changed me completely in a specific sense. That it's very easy for me now to think of others. I don't even have to. I mean, my first thought would be to think of others. That's what the service wing has given me. It took a while, but because we used to do tea parties, taking old people, because my grandparents died when I was very young.
Right. So
how Swami gives you that experience of grandparents. So I would take 4 or 5 people in my car. So wherever we would go to tea parties, we do tea parties, songs, everything, and just have a good time, sandwiches, and take them home. Sort of doing that, that wasn't part of the Sai thing. It was Age Link. It was another organization. But one of our regional coordinators, he was very close to that particular organization, and he felt that Swami's love would help a lot the devotees. So that's how it started for me, in a sense, beyond doing the normal seva at the center. But I'm thinking about outside seva rather internal. And from that, we came across the idea of homeless feeding. And someone suggested, look, there is a homeless action in Barnet, for example. And I didn't have really any understanding of that homeless action. So there's Indra auntie, one of our sort of long-term sort of devotees, is come, and her daughter and grandchild, they come. Yeah. She said, look, she'll volunteer for 6 months there to find out exactly what is needed, and then we can work out what project we can do. Do we provide supplies, for example, volunteers there, or something else? And then we found out that weekends they're closed, so the clients, as they call them, they've got nowhere to go. Okay, right? And we kind of thought to ourselves, oh, they would go to central London or somewhere to get food and things. But I mean, you can't just go to central. You need money to go to central London. So they would skip fares and things like that, right, to go there. And that's not right, we felt. We said, well, look, I mean, they can always go there, but if we provide food here, perhaps there's less likelihood. And we could provide food in a slightly different way, a vegetarian 3-course meal with newspapers in a very different way. And there was a person called Bill Ibbotson, who Sister met while she was volunteering at the Barnet Homeland. He's not a Sai devotee, but fantastic. He's passed away now, but really great heart, Bill and Sally. So Bill said, well, look, Kirti, don't worry about money. So he'll look after the money. I got to look after the volunteers and the food. I said, perfect. How Swami brings things together. So we started off asking people, just give us, we'll do pasta and a sauce. Someone would do a soup for 30 people. And we would ask Mill Hill devotees, and also some of our friends who are not necessarily devotees, but
Yeah.
I mean, they want to help out. And those people, our clients, when they would come, there would have newspapers all around, and it would be like going to college.
Wow.
Sitting, there were three long tables. Everyone had their own space. They're all like the regular spaces, whether it's and they like the particular newspaper they read. Yeah. And while they're reading, hot soup comes with cheese toast.
Okay, nice.
And then there's a main course, and followed by ice cream or fruit and ice cream or fresh fruit. And then at the end, we'd give them a kind of takeaway sandwich bag, crisps and things like a little goodie bag and a chocolate. And we do it every Sunday. And that was where a lot of Mill Hill got what I call real devotional Swami's experience, when Swami talks about there should be no difference between the giver
Yes.
and taker. And he put us in that, not put us, he helped us in that space to actually understand that, the real feeling, rather than just going. Because you're making an effort all the way from cooking to everything, washing up, everything, cleaning up the place, the whole thing. I mean, we did it for 11 years, every Sunday. And it's just incredible. It was just incredible.
Yeah.
It gives you so many different deep experiences that you forget it's Swami giving you that.
Yes.
He completely changes you. I mean, changes in a nice way, way. Yeah. So one doesn't think about Swami now. Well, I don't think about Swami as separate or helping me. You just feel he's there. He's like older brother, everything. When he talked about being a mother, father, at the time it felt like a concept. But now it doesn't feel like a concept. He still disciplines in the sense of stopping me from doing things which are obviously wrong. Yeah, when someone cuts you up on driving, and you get annoyed, and somehow Swami takes my attention away. And I kind of say, "Oh, thank you, Swami." I immediately know who it is. It's not me taking my attention away, right? It's like because you'll be like something nice somewhere. So your mind just goes away, and you're in a different.
Yes.
Yeah, and then it helps you. To not get annoyed about things like that.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I mean by Swami, inner Swami working in nudges. Very, very subtle. Very subtle. So you can smile, you can laugh. Like I mentioned the story about when I was at Krishna temple on Friday.
Yes.
Yeah, very Swami. I say, I can see Krishna, I can see Rama.
Yeah.
Beautiful, the way they're dressed up. But Swami, where are you? I can't see. And then during the bhajans today, Swami is singing Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. I kind of say, what a perfect answer. What a perfect answer.
Yes.
And at Mill Hill, which is my perfect home.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying Krishna temple is not, but to do that at Mill Hill means so much more to me.
Especially given the experience on Friday. And
and just Sunday. Just a thought.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by Swami coming in, being there. And like Mithran, for example, he always kind of used to say to me, let's just love Swami's uncertainty. And what do we mean by that? Like in the old days, we would not there wouldn't be lists of arti, in a sense. We'd keep a spreadsheet of who's given arti, so everyone has a chance. Yeah. But we wouldn't know week to week who's going to do the arti. Because he said, we just stand there and Swami will guide someone. Sometimes till the last second we don't know.
Right.
Yeah. And someone would just step very subtly to Mithran 5 minutes before. If there is no one doing arti, can I do the arti today? And we know there must be a reason. We don't ask for reasons.
Yes.
Sometimes it's death, illness or something. We just say, yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah.
Sometimes we always said, kind of, if it's one of us and somebody knocks on his hand, just pull us out.
Yeah.
Because we understand what's happening. It's not like it has to be on my birthday or anything, because to me, birthdays don't mean much. I mean, every day.
Sure.
It's Swami's day.
Yes.
So it's that sort of thing, When we talk about uncertainty. And as I've said, I might have mentioned some time ago about how we used to get centers, how Swami's uncertainty.
Yes.
We know Swami is always behind us when we have to move.
Yes.
How we moved to St. Andrews, for example, where my sister's sort of friend was the secretary there, and the first time I go there, we didn't want to ask, can we hire this? It was just understood.
Yeah.
And we didn't want to ask who's the caretaker thing. They give us the keys, the code
Yes.
on the day. Didn't even have to ask how much salary, not salary, but rent.
Yes.
It was just perfect for us,
Yes.
affordable.
Swami's always been one step ahead of you.
So
As you
far ahead.
arrive, he's
Yeah,
already
yeah.
there.
I mean, it's, and to be in real time, I really wish everyone could experience that in real time,
Yes.
because it's something else.
Mhm.
And at that time, maybe St. Andrews might have been a coincidence to us. When we got this place, no coincidences.
Mhm.
Same rent as St. Andrews. They haven't raised the rent for 4 years, 5 years now. 4 years, 2020. So yeah, 2025. It was just perfect. Keys, everything,
Yeah.
and as long as we keep it clean, everything, there's just no problems.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just beautiful. I mean, as we know, kind of thing. Not many people or centers would give us all the classes and just
Yes.
for use, full use, and has always made sure that there's no competing tenants for me.
Yes.
Yeah, this is it, and the school is very happy. They don't need to give it to anybody else.
Okay.
They're just very happy.
Swami's there. Yeah.
That's Swami's, isn't it?
Of course.
So it keeps the atmosphere going, the bhajans feeling that whole. So when the children come on Monday morning assembly, the vibrations are still there.
Great. So, Uncle, next I wanted to move on to Mill Hill Sai Centre, which
Yeah.
you've expressed means so much to you. If you can please share one of your fondest memories of Mill Hill.
Oh, I mean, memories. I don't think in terms of memories. I think to me it's all present. But if I have to have a memory, is just so many people, so many devotees I've learned from. The commitment they've had to Mill Hill over such a long period of time. And to give an example, it might be monetary, but we used to have donations to pay the rent. For a person who's gone to California in the mid-90s, we still get that. They still kept the sending. That tells you how much Mill Hill meant to them. And that's the example I look at. How Mill Hill, in your heart, even though physically you're so far away in a Sai Center in California. But I used to say to him, say, look, Uncle, it doesn't matter now. I mean, yeah. He said, no, that keeps my connection.
Wow. Yeah.
Mill Hill gave me that. That's how we came to California. How can I leave my mother?
Yes.
That was
So
it's
people.
it's the people, I think. I mean, for example, I learned a lot from Ajit Bhai,
Yes.
because the discipline side. Because when I first came to Mill Hill and had an idea of discipline, but he was so disciplined. That was that part of it, that particular devotion, particular way of, I call it the Shiva way of with Swami. That's that side of it, you know, the very strict, that way of it, yeah. Not the Parvati. So I used to laugh, kind of thing, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what taught us, and I think he instilled a lot of that idea of discipline and structure to Mill Hill.
Yeah.
And which we still try to keep as close to it, but with a bit more fun, if I can call it, just a lot more easier. Then the memory really is the children who come after that.
Yes.
I mean, like you, Sahil, and you know, I've seen you guys from young.
That's right, yes,
Yeah, really young, and still coming after university and things, yeah, which gives me great pleasure. And so now I see the center, I say, oh, look,
yeah,
all the kids who I saw as kids, they're up and they're taking responsible positions within the center and running it.
Yeah.
And the quality is going higher and higher.
Yes.
Because obviously the era you are in now is very different from our era. Yes. So, and it's nice. It's just a lovely way of, tuning in.
Yes.
Tuning in and bringing people in. So when I think of memories, that's how I see memories. I don't see memories as in historical stuff. I see it in, timelessness almost. It just flows from one to the other.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Uncle. So just moving to our last couple of closing questions. As you know, many young adults across the global Sai organization are navigating very big moments in their life. It could be graduation, first job, business, marriage, kids, many other things. There's various things going on. I guess, what is one message you have for the young adults that can help them keep Swami close during these times?
Do not give up Swami, for example. I mean, that's the first lesson you got to learn. Even though it feels like Swami's left you. Sometimes you will have those experiences where, for example, jobs, you can't get a job. Everywhere there's a rejection and things. In a sense, that's the most difficult part where you can't see the future.
Yes, that's true.
And this happens, right? Keep that faith, because when you eventually get it, there are two reasons. It's not the job, it's that experience Swami wants you to have. And there's no other way to having it unless you go through that pain barrier. And once you get that job might not even be right for you, but it may be right for a few months. And you would think to yourself, but why did Swami give me this? And the following job then might be a bit more perfect, but you have to go through those steps.
Yes.
And that's the patience you need. It's very difficult. I've seen with my own children. For example, now, this weekend, she's got to select between two jobs.
Right.
I've seen both the contracts. I know which job she should go for, but she wants to go for the other one because it's more fun. But I kind of said, I was going to go, and today after this, to give my view to Neha and see how Swami comes in. Sister Claudia, I was talking to her in the morning when we were doing the sewing earlier when we were setting up. And I was mentioning that to Claudia. And she just came out, she said, when I had her son, her daughter, she said, Swami came into a dream, I think. He said, look, when they're 24, 25, let them, you can advise them, but do not go too far. Let them choose their own path. It is their freedom, it is their path, it is their karma. And that told me exactly how I should
handle the situation.
That's how I mean by Swami is always there, guiding in one way or the other.
Yes.
I would say keep close to Swami and take all those experiences.
Yes.
Do not get despondent. It's very easy to get despondent. Right. Yeah. When you get too despondent, I would suggest go to a temple, go to Swami and keep praying.
Right.
Please do that, because he will help. It's happened to me many times, even though when I've lost my jobs, over time. And I used to think, but I suppose because I was in the Swami's fold by then, it didn't really affect me as much, because money would come in somehow. I didn't know how. It just, I wasn't even paying attention to it too much. But little jobs here and there. And because I was in the financial side, doing what I call proprietary trading and things, clearly that's not what Swami wanted me to do.
Right.
Yeah. But Swami was gently easing me away. I would get a job for 6 months or a year. They pay me very high. And then the firm would go, take another direction or something. And they would always cut down the highest earners and then at the time. Yeah. And then I wouldn't have a job for 2 years.
Wow.
So Swami would teach me, look, I gave you that high pay. That was enough for 3 years at a good salary. So it's those lessons. But I never got affected on a Sunday and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. My wife would get more affected than me. So it was, in that sense, it was...
He's keeping you grounded almost. He was
Totally. So it's more important things. It's his work.
Yes.
which is more important. He'll take care of the rest. And now I'm looking at the last 30 years, and when I see the jobs I had, the gaps I had in employment, the money I had. So if I just count the money, the salaries I had over 30 years and divide it by 30, perfect. But it came in lump sums.
Yes.
So Swami was teaching me a lot of lessons. Now I reflect on it.
Wow.
The idea of savings, the idea of being not to be too spendthrift, things like that. Just
Life lessons.
just do it. Yeah.
Yes. Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. So just to close, obviously this year we're celebrating Swami's 100th birthday, the centenary year.
Yeah.
If you had a wish for Bhagawan, you want to say something to him on his 100th birthday, maybe you can share.
I mean, all I would say is Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Because to me, that's Swami. And the whole world is looking at that, especially people are suffering so much.
Yes.
As we know, Ukraine, Gaza, everywhere, Sudan, Congo. And that sort of experience, when Swami's devotees go to the camps, medical camps and things, or even the war camps, and we had little experience with Sri Lanka and things, you begin to realize how fortunate we are. People that we are not in a war zone. Swami's kept taken care of us, all the devotees. And I said the difficulties we have are so small compared to what we could have gone through. And it's that sense of gratitude, and just would like that sort of feeling that more people can get.
Yes.
Being aware of Swami. It doesn't have to be, it can be Swami through Jesus Christ, Swami through, whichever deity
Yes.
You're close to. But it's that feeling, that faith, because there's nothing like it.
Right.
I just don't, I compare my Monday to Sunday. The Sunday, the feeling I have is nothing compared to the Monday to Saturday. It's so different.
Yes.
And
being around Swami, being with those people,
it's because Swami brings that atmosphere with all the devotees.
Yes.
And it's always the sum of the parts, isn't it?
Yes.
And with the children, with everything. It's so beautiful. Yeah.
Wonderful.
When they make sandwiches here, with love.
Oh yeah. Yes.
And it's so nice.
Yes. Thank you so much, Uncle. That was I've really enjoyed that conversation with you. Lots of wisdom that you've imparted that I'm sure myself and all that are tuned in are really going to enjoy and learn from. Thank you to everybody who has joined for this first episode of Tuning Into Sai. Please stay tuned for the next episode. Jai Sai Ram.
Jai Sai Ram.